5 Mississippi. I hope you understand that's what I was doing, Luis. I was doing the Mississippis. There's another one.
Nobody understands anything you were doing.
Isn't there another one besides the Mississippis where you count if
alligator?
You like alligator? Is that the better one? Dalen's like, I don't got time for you right now.
That's what it is, man.
We're on here on Salient Points number 59 for March 8th, 2022. I am the master of ceremonies here, Carlos Macias. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to go to wegotcoms.com, click like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. As per sometimes used, you've been having a nice little hit record though, Dalan. We got Dalan Kirkwood from up in the mountains. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Man, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I mean,
I'm gonna pass out. I got a case of the Mondays right now.
You're doing a lot.
I'm eating some Twizzlers. I'm just enjoying my day.
Okay. And then we also got Deo Blas. I thought we were gonna be down him, man. But turns out you're beefing with Target, right, Deo? Like they didn't get the GTA Gran Turismo 7.
They are lagging on my Gran Turismo 7 copy right now, and no offense, but I might have been playing it instead of doing this right now, so...
Hey, no offense taken. We would have understood.
Offense taken, but we understand.
Okay. So, hey, you're one.
Nah, I would have been
You're 1 for 1. Is that what it is? 1 for 2? I'm not offended. Dalen's, he said he's offended, just in case it didn't get on the wax fully. But I might have some contacts over at Target, Deo, and I probably would have been like, make sure you delay that GT7 so he makes a recording. You know?
So I could go on the pod.
Yeah, he's like, hey, Wario64, please talk to that man's order right now.
I think Carlos would understand it more if it was through Best Buy, because Carlos has had some issues through Best Buy. There was a point where Carlos hated Best Buy.
If you're not doing like pickup, basically it's sort of pickup, but even pickup through Best Buy has been kind of some issues. But yeah, Target, I guess we're beefing with Target right now as far as
Target,
because Amazon does pretty good for the most part. I think anytime I've tried to get something like day one, it usually arrives like that day.
They even sent them like a week early for Gran Turismo 2 for some
yeah,
people.
Hey,
that's why
talk
I'm
about,
so mad about this.
Talk about insult to injury, man. You could have had it like a week and a half ago. If you had ordered through Amazon. We're waiting for that Amazon advertisement, of course. And also
breaking street dates.
And also we got Luis Mendez on the Wheels of Steel. Thank you for joining us, sir.
What it do?
Now, Luis, I am, it wasn't too crazy of a week this past week in the video game world. Probably about the biggest thing was, Grand Theft Auto 5. We got a couple more details on that. There is going to be a next-gen physical version dropping in April. I know, Deo, you're probably going to grab a physical version of this thing, right? Even though you just bought it, I think.
From Best Buy.
From Best Buy, for sure. And we're getting the next-gen update for Grand Theft Auto 5 on March 15th. I'm not too sure what this means, but I guess the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One progress transfers have already started. So I'm hoping, at least, you can kind of help me out on some of the details here. And is the transfer process is automatic, right? Or do you have to trigger that?
No. You have to opt in.
Okay.
So basically, you can it's the story mode progress. So if you wanted to, you could upload your story mode up to the cloud. It stays up there for I think 3 months. And then you can download it once you're on the new, next gen platform, right? So this would only work from console to console, not PC to console, or vice versa. And then
in the same family, right? Like in the same PlayStation family, Xbox family, whatever kind of thing.
I think it works from Xbox to PlayStation.
Okay.
So it doesn't have to be in the same family. The only caveat there being is that if you were to transfer, aside from your story mode game save, your actual online character, the only thing that wouldn't transfer is any Grand Theft Auto like online money that you purchased with the Shark. So like actual like in-game purchase, that won't transfer to another console.
Okay.
Unless it's within the same family. So Xbox to the new Xbox and PlayStation to the new PlayStation, but not cross.
What's got you the most hyped about this, Lisa? You log into this damn game every single day, or near every single day. Even though, put the camera on me, Dalan. Stop logging into GTA 5. But besides that, what's got you?
Hold on, you just asked me to move your camera from a couple of cities
he's
away.
He's been saying that every single time.
I already just caught it.
Come on, Dalan. What are we doing?
He's got powers.
But okay, Luis. Look, you are our resident expert on all things GTA Online. So what's got you like hyped that you're not already getting in the current version of this thing?
Honestly, for me, it's just all of the quality of life updates, like new couches in your apartments and stuff. But aside from
A new
that,
physical couch.
you get it's basically getting everything that the PC version has already on a console. So the better load times, the increased textures, the better lighting, the ray tracing, all that stuff, better frame rates. So it's basically just all that. And just with playing the PlayStation 4 version on a PS5, I'm already getting a little bit of that. So the fact that it's going to improve already, again, I mean,
Hopefully.
that's exciting, right?
Yeah.
So mainly that's it. But I guess the big key thing here being is that so it will be free for the first 3 months for anyone on PlayStation if you have PlayStation Plus. And then the online will be for the first time ever, I guess, as a standalone, so you don't have to get the story mode.
Okay.
And they'll make it easier for any new players coming in to get started. So if you want to either create a new character or start create I'm sorry. Yeah, just create a new character if you're starting fresh. They'll basically give you what they're calling, what was it called?
It's like a little starter pack or beginner pack or something like
A little
that.
They're
booster
calling it
pack.
a career. They're calling it the career builder. So they'll start you off with $4 million in cash and then allow you to kind of get a jump start on buying businesses and weapons and vehicles and that kind of stuff.
Oh, you mean one business?
Businesses, I said plural, but
I
yeah.
know.
Now,
Things are expensive in that game.
If I have a copy of this game, it's a free upgrade for me, right? If I have a copy of this
Well, I
game.
mean, it's free for anyone that has PlayStation Plus. So as soon as it drops, you can just get it.
But
and
it's
then
only
transfer your
free
character
for like
over.
the first 3 months, though, or something like that, right? Like,
Well, I mean, you'll own
PlayStation
it
Plus.
forever. It's up there for you to claim it within 3
Okay,
months.
gotcha.
I don't know why anyone wouldn't claim it. You could claim it through the mobile
grab
app. You don't
it
even
then.
need to have a PlayStation 5,
Yeah.
right? So
And I know one
But
of
I
the
think
things.
Carlos's point is that you have to have the game first in order to claim it.
no,
No, you don't even have to have the game first. You can
it's just free, man.
claim it.
free and free. Yeah, just grab it. What do you guys do? I mean, you know what? No, stop logging into GTA 5. But Dalan, I'm gonna go to you. Dan, I know the thing that you're most excited about because anytime we've tried to log into this thing, you got to replay the first like intro mission or the prologue, and Rockstar is finally saying, "No, you guys could just start. You guys could just start."
That was the first thing I was going to bring up too, because it was so irritating trying to come back, and then every so often it's like, "Hey, you got to do the story." I'm like, I don't want to do the story. I understand the story might be great, it might have great acting, it was critically acclaimed in a lot of areas, but I was like, I just want to play this game with my friends. Let me just jump online. But no, I have to load up the story, go through the first mission, then I have to switch to online once it landfalls wherever the heck I am. And then when it actually kicks me back, makes me do that first mission again, I'm upset. And then I got to tell people, hold on, I got to do this first mission again. And then they're waiting on me. And then
So, Dalan,
when I
you're the
hop in,
most
I
hyped
still have all
about-
my stuff.
So you're after that rigmarole, Dalan. That's what you're most excited about.
Not having to do that opening multiple times, yes.
That's the most hyped about. Dale, what are you most hyped about this?
Oh, and a new couch.
And a new couch. Quality of life
The
new
new
couch.
couches. Well, it's so stupid because I just bought GTA 5 for the PC last week for like $5 off the Epic Games
okay.
Store.
At least it was only $5.
Oh, it was only $5, but the main reason why I got it is because like that new DLC is gonna come out. I don't know when's that, like the fall time or something like that. The one with Dr. Dre.
Oh, it's already out.
That's
Dr.
out.
Dre's dropped.
It's
Is
been out.
it? Are you freaking
Yeah,
serious?
No, but don't leave the
Wow, man.
podcast yet, Dale. Don't leave the
Oh my
podcast
God.
quite yet to go play it, please.
Hold up, I need to
hold-
be right back. I gotta download
Please
something.
don't leave the podcast quite
Jesus.
You know, you gotta download it. It's in it.
Oh my God.
It dropped.
Wow.
I think it was a sort of a stealth drop. Not that stealthy, but enough for you to not know about it. But it was kind of like middle of December, man. We're busy with
Yeah,
stuff.
it dropped like December.
Yeah, it's like
Oh my
mid-December.
God, I'm
So-
so way past that thing. Yeah,
so
there you
it
go. I gotta
exists.
catch up to it then.
It
There you go. I
exists.
gotta catch up to the
He
damn
said, I'm
thing.
waiting for Dre. Oh, what?
Yeah, so what's coming up is basically the update, right? And we're gonna get a physical version of that. I'm just I mean, stop logging into GTA. But this is like Skyrim, right? Like I forget who said that on Skyrim. Somebody on the team's like, you guys keep buying it, we'll keep feeding you. So here it is. We're gonna keep getting that GTA 5. But that's dropping. I think that's kind of one of the bigger things this past week. And also, look, we've kind of we've danced around it. I don't even think we've danced around it. We just haven't mentioned it. But there's sort of a real world thing going on. There's Russia invading Ukraine, and it's kind of a nasty ordeal. We're not a political podcast, and I don't think we're gonna pretend to be. But you guys can say whatever you want. I'm just, that's not what it is. But in the video game world, they've kind of taken it seriously. I forgot to put it down here, but I think somebody from the Ukraine were like, they kind of petitioned, or they put out a statement and saying like, stop supporting Russia, stop doing this. So I think that's part of one of the things that triggered it, and I think that was like from an official channel in the Ukraine. But a whole bunch of stuff has happened since then. We have and I just kind of have a little bit of a list of people that have halt sales: Electronic Arts, Nintendo, Bloober Team, CD Projekt Red, Activision Blizzard, Take-Two. They've halted sales there. Microsoft has said, quote, we're quote, stopping many aspects of our business, end quote. Sony pulled their Gran Turismo 7 release. This one was a little interesting. The Pokemon Company donated $200,000, which I quickly pulled up. How much has the Pokemon Company made? And these guys are like the biggest media franchise, and they're like, here, we'll give you a paltry $200K. But that's neither here or there. They
it's the drop in the bucket.
It's a tiny drop in the Pokemon Company bucket, but that's fine, right? They did a good thing. John Romero created a new Doom 2 level, and he donated all the proceeds of that to the Ukraine. And then the last thing I have here is that Electronic Arts actually removed Russia from FIFA. So I think that one was kind of interesting, I feel, and we've kind of seen that play out a little bit, where people are like, oh, we're just not gonna acknowledge Russia in certain aspects. We'll go Dalan. We'll go with Dalan first on this, man. And what are your thoughts on kind of what's been happening?
Well, I recall that there was also a video game company that was relocating their employees from Ukraine and actually setting them up with places to live.
The Stalker,
and I thought that was awesome.
Stalker 2, I think, developed.
Yeah, I can't remember which company it was, but I still thought it was really awesome news to even see it. Obviously, Ukraine's getting a lot of, well, to say the least, attention, but they're getting a lot of love from every direction, while Russia's getting all the hate. They're making themselves public enemy number one across the board, regardless of what happens. No, we're not a political channel specifically, but it's not like we could miss this.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest hits to them, I don't know if you guys have followed it that much, but was kind of taking them off the Swift transaction system that pretty much the whole world uses, and that kind of cut them off. Like it kind of cut an arm off. So now the guy's kind of relying on like his own cash reserves and the fact that they have a lot of oil. They have a lot of oil, and trust me, the fact that we got those nice gas prices, it kind of plays into that a little bit. Deo, what are your thoughts, man, on the gaming front or whatever's been happening kind of the last couple weeks?
Yeah, it's been really sad. I feel for the people over there in Ukraine. It's tough. Normally when stuff like this happens, I always try to find a way to help out, like through charity or something. But it's like, as the people, there's just so many. There's like 1 million refugees coming out of Ukraine right now, and even if we were able to donate something, like they maybe won't have a home to come back to if it's preoccupied or bombed by Russia. But there are some other gaming. I think they're just like those like sites that bundle games together, and they sell
like
them as a package.
Humble Bundle, that kind of
like Humble Bundle, those types of things. There's one similar to Humble Bundle that's doing a promo right now, that if you like buy like this one bundle, like I think it's like 98% of the proceeds go towards the Ukrainian war effort. And that's like the only way that I know that I could really help out right now, because other than that, it's just like, it's tough supporting war on either side, and especially with like America, when it comes to America and our wars, like we can't say and put our foot into this global conflict, like saying like, hey, we're gonna police you too and you do your thing.
Yeah, and we do it a lot, man. We kind of we're all over the place. We gotta kind of we do a lot of our own kind of. We don't make it as public, but there's a lot going on. Trust me, some of these coups that are happening, I don't want to be conspiratorial on here or nothing, but there's some interesting behind the scenes stuff happening that the US of A might be involved in.
Right.
Luis, what are your thoughts on what's been happening the last couple weeks?
Yeah, man, it sucks. I mean, there's no real good way to put it. It's terrible, but I guess the silver lining, seeing is that in general, even though there's something this bad happening in general, everyone really kind of seems to have come together in a way and be like, oh yeah, they're really terrible, and they're like they totally need our help, or like so I guess it's good to see that in this age where like everyone's disagreeing all the time, that everyone can kind of agree on this specific situation right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say.
Yeah, I mean, it is kind
Except
of
for
sad.
people praising Putin right now.
Yeah, there is kind of a lot of it's unfortunate what's happening, but it's also I don't. This might be a little controversial, but I did say I think Trevor Noah had a quote the other day. I don't know if you guys saw it, but it's like, okay, so there's people that are refugees coming out from the Ukraine. Remember, it's not just like brown people. It's white people. You can be coming as a refugee from any situation. This is the reality of things. So, that might be a little controversial to say, but, I don't, it's okay. It's okay. That was a little bit of a downer, but at least the video game industry is saying, look, we're kind of trying to do our part, I suppose, to do little business, and there was a thing I did see that it's also like things that are kind of like people are inconsistent about, right? Like it's easy to like, I don't know if you guys have followed some of the movies, like the Batman, I think is not releasing there. And I think like several Disney things aren't releasing there.
Man, there's been a complete stop on like almost everything,
so
even flowing in that direction.
So the interesting thing about that is that I think it's like Russia, maybe their revenue from there is maybe like 8% or like a low percent. But then there's a lot of stuff happening in China with the Uyghurs and all this other kind of stuff. And they're like, we're still going to release stuff because it's like 30% of their revenue, right? Versus like, so, look at, follow the money. That's all we're saying. Like we're saying we're not too political. I hope I don't come off as like I'm conspiracy Carlos over here, but follow the money. And there's always things behind the scenes, but
still possible for them to burn through that money faster than they could fight whatever they believe is a war for them.
Yeah, there you go. Deo, there's some rumors, right, about like a Konami thing. Maybe you could kind of give us a little bit of.
Yeah, let's specify we've changed topics at this point.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, okay.
That's true. Well, that is. Thank you, Dalan. Thank you for the transition. Deo, there's something about Konami getting bought or something, or no, or into IPs.
No, right. So specifically, this dropped like maybe like 7 hours ago. 2 websites have like been circling around the rumor mill that PlayStation has acquired one of Konami's largest IPs. We don't know what it is yet. They're supposedly supposed to be revealing that during an upcoming PlayStation event. So that's all we know of right now. We don't know any other specifics other than it's a Konami IP that has been sold,
to consider,
or that's
right?
being sold. So
and
it could be anything really.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be everything from Silent Hill to Metal Gear to Castlevania, or what's the other Toomba? Is Toomba Konami or whatever?
I mean,
what does Konami own?
A ton of crap, dude.
They might as well try to sell off whatever they can, right? I mean, they got what is their business now? Pachinko machines or love spas?
Gambling.
Or something?
Gambling, slot machines, pachinko machines.
So
man.
that's their business. Dalan, Luis, you guys got any thoughts on that? I guess we'll see, right? If there's any juice to this, if there's any meat to this, we'll find out soon enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, I would, as I'm a huge Hideo Kojima fan, and I would hate to see his franchise get made without him, but I would love to see another Metal Gear Solid.
Mm-hmm.
So,
you
I
mean
don't
a
know.
good one?
We'll see.
Oh, Dalan.
I just said another one. What do you mean?
I mean,
Pretty
good. What do you mean? What's going on?
There was Metal Gear Solid with the main title, and then you hit Metal Gear Survive, and you're like, what happened?
Oh, well, yeah. I mean,
Well,
we all really know what happened,
Yeah,
but that's
for
still
sure.
another Metal Gear game.
They could be
technically.
if they get Metal Gear, they could do remakes of 1, 2, and 3, and that would be like huge just for PlayStation 5 alone.
they might be kind of blowing off the dust off of some of the Twin Snakes, right? And be like, we already made this on GameCube, but maybe, right? They'll get people hyped about it, and I'm sure a new Metal Gear Solid could be made would it be as wacky and as good as something Hideo would have made? You know, I don't know. Possibly not.
Hey, I tell you what, they should bring back Bloody Roar because that was one of my favorite franchises.
Ooh,
Bloody
yeah.
War, I think it's called Killer Instinct, Dalen.
No, Bloody Roar, Carlos.
The whole thing.
No, I know it's called Bloody Roar, Dalen. Come on, what are we doing here, Dalen?
I don't know. You upset me. Don't talk bad about Bloody Roar. That was a good game.
Dalen's got the case of the money.
Was the last game on GameCube? Bloody Roar?
Yeah, they made it. That was Bloody Roar 4, and it was on GameCube, and that was their first attempt at going like. I guess they tried to put specials in it. It was a weird thing.
But you want
it was
that,
a weird
though.
thing.
But you want.
I don't want the weird thing. I wanted to go back to your human transforming a beast with a fair story, and you're just whooping people's butts.
So when Bloody Roar does it, it's weird. When Metal Gear does it, it's terrible.
No, when Bloody Roar did it, they ruined their own series. No, Bloody Roar 4 was a terrible game. Don't get me wrong. I hated Bloody Roar 4. They went 1, 2, and 3. That's where it ended being good. Metal Gear, it went 1, 2, and 3. That's where it ended being good. 4 was okay, actually. 5 was where they messed up. I apologize.
So Animorphs the game, huh? That's your jam. That's your jam right there.
Animorphs the fighting game.
Dalen, what else has been your jam this past week, man? What's been the hot news for you?
The hot news for me was the recent. I guess it's in the works that God of War is getting a live action series. That is just one of the best pieces of news. Yeah, even Dale's got a clap for it. I don't know anybody who doesn't know the term God of War or Dad of Boy, whatever you want to call it. But apparently it's being finalized through Dad of Boy.
I don't think anybody knows it as Dad of Boy.
I've never
there are people know it. What? There are people that know it as Dad of Boy.
Yeah, that's circling around for the last 2018.
Okay. We might have lost that one, Luis. We might have lost that one.
But that one is out there going to Amazon Prime Video, and I believe the editor made a note here that it's also through PlayStation Productions, I guess.
Well, no, I made that note because PlayStation, they just made the Uncharted movie. So Sony they just bought Bungie, right? All an excuse to talk about Destiny. I hope you're all right over there, Dale. All an excuse to talk about Bungie, Dalen, is the fact that PlayStation Productions they're making Uncharted. Then this is reportedly God of War in collaboration with Amazon Prime, and they were saying that Bungie, they want to take Destiny to like that into a series, into a potential movie. So we might see more announcements on that front.
Well, they already have season 1 and 2 for the Bungie series, right? Yeah. So I'm like, all right, make God of War. If it's that good, I'm just going to wonder who's going to play Kratos or Kratos, however you want to say it. But the biggest question, you know what? I'm going to finish the news part of it. Okay. They're going to get the producers from Wheel of Time, or at least they're trying to get the producer from Wheel of Time, and the creators of The Expanse. So I guess they could make
Okay. That's why Dalen dropped
I don't know. Man, apparently you like The Expanse, but yes, they're trying to get the creators of The Expanse, so you know it's going to be good quality, and they're going to really delve into the lore in a way that you could understand it.
It's pretty understandable. Dalen, Dad of Boy. Pretty understandable.
I'm talking about The Expanse.
Oh, okay. Oh, damn.
All right. So,
now. Okay.
What I was gonna say, which I decided to pivot backwards, is that there's no actual information on any of the actual actors for this show, and there's no real information on when it's actually going to be set. But apparently, people are leaning towards the fact that it's going to be set in the remake of God of War, or Dad of Boy, as I was saying. But I'm hoping they actually start from part 1. I would love to see them start from part 1, but I don't know who the heck's gonna play Kratos.
Well, they gotta figure out what the tone would be, right? Because if you're going back to the original God of War, it was a very angry, very macho, or whatever you call it, type of God of War.
It was
murderous.
Yeah. Oh my God. and then with the reboot, they kind of reconfigured that character, right? You still get a sense of that, right? But they kind of reconfigured him, and he's Dad of Boy, like you just said. Dale, what's got you hyped? Because he said The Expanse. So what do you think that means if they're getting kind of the Expanse people on board?
Oh my God, I didn't even know that they're getting the if they get the Expanse folks on that thing, that'd be hot. Because I'm rewatching The Expanse right now. This is my 4th time rewatching the entire series.
Aren't they on like season 4 and it's still going?
6. It's on 6. It's the last
Whoa,
season.
okay, I'm behind a couple of years. Excuse me.
Yeah, and it's and The Expanse is my favorite sci-fi to come out since Star Trek: The Next Generation. So it's like
Standard
as far
nerd.
as dude, it is so good. It is so like the geopolitical stuff is so good.
I have heard good things about that. Maybe I need to check that out at some point.
It's very good. It's very good.
So for you, this is good. This is good news, right? That they
like it was supposed to be based off the books, and I think if they get God of War license, they could do a lot more because there's a lot more like history behind the God of War franchise and whatnot. And they just did such a good job with that show that for a story that I've never heard anything about, they totally made it their own thing, and they created new storylines and they made all these plot points, and it's been wonderful. If they go back into the God of War series, like original God of War from like 2005 or whatever, they could probably do some good stuff. They have really good graphics and animation for the Expanse show, and I'm sure that will translate over well to the God of War series.
Yeah,
like,
and I think
I'm super hyped about that.
And I haven't seen the Wheel of Time either, but that's like a big budget production, right? I think for Prime.
Yeah,
so,
my wife watches that too.
yes.
Yeah.
So I think they're considering like we're gonna throw a lot of cash at this. Luis, what are your thoughts on this, man? We're getting a God of War live action.
Well, I haven't seen either The Expanse or The Wheel of Time, but I've heard good things about both. And they are both Prime shows, right? So that would make sense to like put. Or no, wait. The Expanse is like a sci-fi.
Yeah, Expanse is sci-fi.
Yeah.
I was just about to tell you that.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, cool.
Cool.
I would imagine they would do something similar to the God of War remake, but then throw flashes at like his Greek.
I don't mean to
roots, I
interrupt you, Luis. My bad, dude.
I'm looking at him. I'm ignoring
Dalen's over
it,
here pulling straight up cables from the wall. All right. But let him finish his thought. Dalen, damn. Okay, Luis.
No, I apologize. My internet started cutting off. I was like, oh man, this is about to cut out. I better hardwire in.
Sorry that Dalen's over here interrupting you, Luis. But yeah, okay. God of War stuff.
Yeah. So like I was saying, I'm assuming they would do the 2018 version of God of War and then just do maybe flashbacks or like one throwback episode of his Greek roots, or
That's a
like
good idea.
the actual like Greek god roots rather than doing a whole build up to that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see what they do.
Have you seen the Uncharted movie, Luis? Have you seen it?
I probably won't, man.
Okay.
I probably won't watch
spoilers.
I probably won't.
No spoilers, but kind of what you're describing is a little bit of kind of how they went about.
Well, yeah,
that
but
in a
based
way.
off of just the trailer, I know they went about it completely the wrong way. So,
I'm
dang.
talking about story beat type of like the organization of the story. I'm not talking
The pacing.
yeah,
He
that's
said
what I'm
the
talking
pacing.
about too.
Okay, all right. Deo, what's the big news for the last week for you, man?
So today, well, I have two things. I don't know if you want to go over it later, but the biggest one for me today is that Sega finally is revealing the DLC for Lost Judgment. This was supposed to come out back in September, but because pandemic thing happened, they've been delaying it. But it's supposed to be called the Kaito Files. And if you've played Judgment before, right? He's
a buddy. He's the buddy
He's
of
a
the
friend.
main character. Yeah, he's
Yes,
his best
yes.
friend. Kind of.
Kaito is what they call a himbo, so he's like a big dumb animal, but he's like he's full of heart. He's ex-Yakuza guy, and he's super lovable. And I'm glad that he's getting DLC because he's a complex character that didn't get as much love in the second game compared to the first game. So I'm glad they're fleshing out his character and his backstory a little bit with this one.
Okay.
I don't know what else is during the show, but
did they do DLC for this before? Did they?
This is
for Judgment. Did they do DLC for that?
For the original Judgment, no.
Okay.
No. This will be the first DLC for this franchise.
Okay. Wait, it might be the end of the franchise, right? This might be the last thing we
It
get.
possibly can.
Yes, with all the acting
so,
situation.
Exactly. That's why if the contracts fall through with the original actor for Takumi, they could possibly pivot to Kaito as the main character for the Judgment series. Who knows? I don't think he'd be as interesting because he's not a lawyer and he's not like a private investigator too much.
Yeah.
But they could assemble a good group around him.
But this was supposed to be like the
guys.
series to take up the action mantle, right? Because
Correct.
Yakuza has decided to go RPG, right?
Yeah, and Kaito's perfect for that. Kaito is like, spiritual successor to Kiryu. in terms of like fighting style and everything. So
Yeah.
it could be a good pivot for them.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, you're right. You are correct. I'm like, oh yeah, I guess so. He is kind of like that placeholder, or kind of that they slotted in. The Kiryu from Yakuza.
Kiryu,
That guy.
yeah.
Yeah, they kind of slotted him that way. Dalan, you got some thoughts on this?
Forgot what my thought was.
Oh, okay.
I lost
Dalan,
it.
reasonable.
Maybe if
Reasonable.
you
I
start
was
with
gonna say that
tables
it
every
is,
2 seconds, you know what your thought was.
Yeah, I
then.
know. Exactly.
Hey man, I was dealing with my internet over here. But actually, I do remember my thought process. You talked about a himbo, and I was like, he's just a big old teddy bear. That's all I was gonna say.
Okay.
Reasonable.
Luis, your thoughts on this, man? The DLC we got going on.
Yeah, I wasn't quite sure, but hearing Deo talk about it, I was thinking, isn't this the guy that you guys were talking about that could? Because I think it was like last week or the week before, you guys were talking about someone who to potentially replace like the protagonist if they can't get the rights to the other guy.
Oh,
I think so.
okay.
Yeah, this was him.
Yeah.
So
Same
this
guy.
this
But,
could be a good way for them to gauge that kind of interest too, right, from the fans. And all
Maybe,
that.
yeah.
Maybe that was the point from the beginning. Maybe they already intended on doing this if the game succeeded well enough.
Yeah. I mean, Dalen,
It just wasn't enough to
Dalen-
span
Dalen-
another game.
Dalen, you forget your
Right.
points a lot, but when you interject, there's something there. There's something there. I will not say. I will
A
not
big old
say,
teddy bear,
I
right?
will not say if it's good or bad. I will just say that there's something there. Luis, before we kind of move on from this, it's my bad. We interrupted you here.
Yeah, sure, I'll finish it off, whatever. I still haven't played a single Yakuza game, and I didn't play Lost Judgment yet. So I guess now that I have both of you here, where would you recommend to start?
Yakuza.
I would say they're two different
Yeah.
series, right? So you actually
Yeah.
could start at Judgment, then Lost Judgment. That's two games versus Yakuza.
Yeah,
we're
that's more
talking-
why I was asking, because
we're-
if I could just go into Judgment and then backtrack, my way back.
You could do Judgment, Lost Judgment, get that out of the way, get a sense for the franchise, and then go through the Yakuzas, right? Or Dale, I mean,
Is Yakuza a long game? Because I started part one, but I didn't get too far.
Well, there's a
long.
lot of them, right?
there's
Oh,
a lot
man.
of them, and they're kind of long as well.
Even if you
also.
try and critical
What?
path it?
Yeah, kind
yeah,
of.
yeah.
Yes, because there's so many there's so many plot devices and there's so many turns in the plot that it just goes all over the place sometimes, especially in 5. But what
They're
I
keeping
would
it
I
wacky.
they keep it crazy and wacky. There's literally the tagline for a lot of the games.
It's really,
and the characters.
it's really
in the
soapy.
game.
Dalen,
It's so over the top,
Dalen,
man.
I'm gonna put it to you like this.
I know it's over the top.
Dalen, I'll put it to you like this. It was Yakuza 1 through whatever. At some point, correct me if I'm wrong, Dale, but there is a baby on one of the covers of these games, right?
Yakuza 6.
At some point, there's a baby on the cover, Dalen. So that's how windy and that's how soapy
Dude,
the whole
you
thing
you,
goes.
you get to fight bears in a mountain, a snow peaked mountain. You get to go kart. You get to be an owner of a hostess club. You get to do
There's a lot.
karaoke.
You
It's
mean
all over.
Shenmue 2.0, what it should have been.
Yeah, man. Yeah, no,
got some
I
thoughts on
love
that.
that this took over the mantle
Yeah.
for the Shenmue series. But for my recommendation, what I would recommend, since you haven't played any of them so far, is to go into Yakuza 0 and try that out, because like that one's like the most it's the low impact way to get into the series. It's very exciting to watch. There's not a lot of like backstory you have to know about, and the way that introduces you to Kamurocho and the characters is a lot simple. It's much more simple compared to the rest of them, because they
Okay.
try to do all this backstory, and if you don't know who these people are, you get backlogged. But what's nice is that if you do, and both series are kind of different, because Judgment and Lost Judgment are more like you're playing as a private eye instead of like an ex Yakuza guy. So in those games, it's a slower paced kind of game. So if you want to chill and play those, that's cool. But they don't have as many of the fun mini games and the storylines as Yakuza 0. So start there.
Okay, yeah.
It
Well, it's a good thing I already own Zero then. 'Cause
What-
a
what-
friend gave it to me as a present, so.
Isn't there like a collector's edition on the PC or something like that?
I think on
There's a
PlayStation when it came
remastered.
out.
There's a
it's
remaster
the
for
remaster.
3, 4, and 5.
Dale,
Yeah, that's what I thought.
is it would it be considered 3 different kind of series at this point though, like the mainline Yakuza 0 to 6 or 7, and then and what is it, the dragon one?
Like a Dragon.
And then
Yeah.
Judgment. Are they really
Yes.
like three different kind of franchises in a way that you could say?
It's
Yeah.
Shenmue.
Yeah, I would consider them pretty different because, like, Judgment is more of an offshoot from the original Yakuza style, and Like a Dragon is like completely gameplay wise is all RPG,
It's like an RPG,
like
right? Yeah.
like Dragon Quest, so it's completely different. But Lost Judgment and Judgment are totally, because they have their own cast of characters. Yeah, they're set in the same like setting, like in Kamurocho in Tokyo, but they have way different storylines and characters to know about, and different game mechanics. There's a lot more like stealth and exploration in those types of games.
Yeah, and it's just at another level of production as well too, right? Like we always thought, like people were like, "Bring Shenmue back, bring Shenmue." Like just play Yakuza. That was always my thought. It's like just play Yakuza. The
Yeah,
production
like
values,
one thing that I do like about Judgment, Lost Judgment, and Yakuza 6 is that they have like chapter recaps. So like, say you play the game and then you forget like what happened, like plot wise in the game. They at the beginning of every chapter, they do like a recap telling you like, oh, this character was here, like kind of like when you're watching a weekly HBO series.
Yeah.
And so they like recap the whole thing. They do that, which is kind of nice.
It's like
especially
last
if you-
time on Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, last time on Dragon Ball Z, exactly.
So it was gonna come down to this at some point, Dale, that you were gonna have to break down the series for us, and I'm thankful that you have.
Anytime.
And I hope that was a good primer for Luis. I hope that cleared something up for you, Luis. I hope that kind of got you.
It
going
really
in the-
did. That's why I asked.
Got you going in the right direction. So we'll go on to the next section here. It's the quick takes, quote unquote, because sometimes they're not that quick, but we will start off. We'll try to keep it quick, keep it moving. The first thing we have on here is Elden Ring is the biggest launch in the UK since Red Dead Redemption 2 in 2018, and of course that has a quick little caveat that we're talking about a non-Call of Duty, non-FIFA game, but it's apparently kind of the biggest game since Red Dead Redemption 2 over there. And the other quick little note I have on here is that the staff, after the success apparently of Elden Ring, did give them a $50,000 yen raise, which I think we did the calculation. It's about $500 added onto whatever their salary is. So that's kind of a nice little bump. Luis, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, you kind of love to see that from a game that's garnered huge success for the developers to sort of repay their employees a little bit. Even, you could say, oh, it's only 500 or whatever, but I mean that's more than, it's a little bonus. It's not supposed to be like a pay raise or whatever.
Yeah, it's a little like kind of, we respect you guys. We did good here. We'll give you, and it's continuous too, right? It's not just a one-time like bonus, which some of these bonuses get crazy, man. I don't know if you guys have seen some of these bonuses.
I am well aware. Yes, I'm well aware.
Sometimes you'd rather take the big bonus than like a little incremental, but go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, that's it. You love to see it. Happy for the development team,
Other than that, and I know you guys put no across the board, but I just want to mention it real quick, is that apparently they might have made an accessible game as far as we're concerned. I don't know if you guys ever look at, like, if you get trophies or anything like that, the percentages on how many people accomplish certain things, and it's always really low. So they're saying that for Elden Ring on PC, 65% of people have defeated Margit, 55% of people have defeated Godric. I have not personally defeated those people yet, but from what I understand is they're early level kind of bosses, and so that kind of shows that it's sort of accessible, because from what I understand is people really fall off of this game rather quickly because they're like, I just got murdered. As an example, when I played Sekiro, I don't even think I beat the first boss. I was like, I've seen enough of this. But that's good to know that they kind of have it accessible, and they're doing something good over there, and they're selling a crap load. The other thing on this one's a lot of this is for me and you, Dylan. This is gonna be a little upsetting, but apparently Destiny 2 will not be running on the Steam Deck. And I don't know, maybe Luis, maybe you can help me a little bit why that is, or kind of like,
I have no idea.
Apparently there's ways to kind of get around the Steam Deck to kind of tap into the system or something, and they basically have said, or Bungie has said, it's like, try to play the Steam Deck on, try to play Destiny 2 on the Steam Deck, and you might just get yourself banned. Dalan, what are your thoughts on this, man? That you won't be able to play it portably.
I think the issue there is that people like to jailbreak things, especially when they're mobile. I mean, PSP, Vita, PSP Go, if anybody remembers that. At some point, the Switch, these people will jailbreak them and just get things for free. And Bungie doesn't want to lose money. They don't want people to just randomly be able to unlock all the. Where's Luis going?
He's really traveling. If you guys are looking at the
We got
video,
faded out.
if you guys are looking at the video,
Like, what the heck?
hey, look, it's funny though. We will point that shit out too, man. We are that kind of. Look, I won't say this about you, Dale. We don't know you that well, I guess, too well, but we're assholes, so we will point out like random stuff happening on camera.
It's all faded in the back.
Oh,
He went to go get his PSP Go.
Oh, hold on, Dale's got
There
one
it is.
too. Dale's got one. Too.
Oh man,
Okay.
what did I start?
Yeah. Yeah.
There it is. There it is.
I actually had one of those too, but point is, these the mobile systems are generally more hackable, and again, Bungie doesn't want to be losing money like that. So if people start hacking their code for Bungie, Bungie wouldn't even know about it. Especially if they disconnected themselves from online, or if they actually found a way to subvert the banning system. So Bungie's just like, no, don't do it. Just keep it on console.
Yeah, it's a little unfortunate because to me, I think this would have. I think I've tried doing like the remote play for Destiny. It's terrible, man. It's whack. I tried it. I tried. I basically had to be home to sort of for it to work a little bit. But it's like, well, the whole point is that I'm not home and I'm playing this, and it just doesn't work that great. So this would have been cool. But I will, Luis, is that really? Does that hold water? What Dalan just said, is that really what they're concerned about? That people are gonna be hacking, and that's why it's not available. Do you know?
Honestly, yes. That's
Okay,
the only thing I was
okay.
going to say is that that's
Okay.
the only thing that makes sense is that it's something that they have less control over. With a PC and a console, they can sort of keep an eye on when something's been modified, their anti-cheat if a game's been modded or whatever, because the Steam Deck is such a new thing, and maybe they don't even have a dev kit. They weren't thinking about putting anything on there.
Yeah.
They have no way to like stop them from modding games or cheating or whatever. So, but really they're doing it for you, so people don't get on there and ruin your experience for
Okay.
whatever reason.
Even with like a
yeah.
constant connection type of game like Destiny, they can just mod away.
Well, yeah, just
Like
look
I
at
said,
Call of
you
Duty,
hack
look
it,
at Red
that's
Dead
it.
Redemption, look at GTA. Like those games are heavily modded in an actual live server. Someone can just mess with you, change the floor to it's snowing. They can teleport you somewhere you don't want to be. They can just kill you for no reason. So
They could put a
they can make
gigantic
themselves
fan
invincible.
across the
Yeah.
entire map, and you
Okay.
die every 5
Okay.
seconds because you're getting smacked by a piece of metal that you don't know where it's coming
So
from.
that
Yes, that happened
So
to
a
me.
lot of it from what's we're speculating, of course, but based on what you're saying, Lise, is kind of like we should be getting Destiny 2 at some point, but it'll have to be when
That's
Bungie.
not what I said.
No, I mean, I'm saying like as far as like we should in the sense that as long as Bungie shows an interest, it's like all right, let's figure this crap out. Let's figure this out.
Well,
or
I don't know. Maybe because I don't know how much it seemed like Bungie was supposed to maintain their independence, but maybe PlayStation has a sort of say in that and saying, or Sony
that's
rather,
true.
and like no, just focus on the console version or whatever. So because they like we had stated previously, they wanted to make what was it, a ridiculous number, like 15 live service games in the next 8 years or something, or 5 years. So
Yeah.
yeah, maybe they don't want them wasting their time on the Steam Deck when they could be developing another live service game for them.
Does something? Do you think the fact that it's a Linux-based sort of system have anything to do with it? Is it maybe a little easier to?
I mean, it is, yeah, it would be easier, but I don't know if that was like the defining reason for them, you know?
It was the final straw that broke the camel's back.
Oh, damn. Okay, Dalan. This one, I'm gonna bring Deo in for this next one. So we got news on Halo Infinite Season 2. It's supposed to be called Lone Wolves. They're gonna be throwing in new maps, new modes. It's dropping May 2nd, 2022. So that's like in a couple months now. And the co-op has been delayed yet again. So they said it's supposed to drop in May. And as I put in the notes, May no mo. Deo, what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm disappointed. I'm honestly really disappointed. I think that 343 bit off more than they could chew. I don't think they realized how much work it is to have like a free to play game up and running all the time constantly. If you look at games like COD, like there's like a devoted team specifically, for Warzone, and while the other studios like do the own single player kind of thing. And I don't think 343 was well equipped enough to handle all that. And they over promise and they're under delivering a lot. So when it comes to Halo Infinite right now, and so people are pissed. I'm kind of pissed because I want to play the game. You know what it is? It's like the gameplay is really good.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
It's awesome, but like they have to keep on feeding it more content, and not allowing us to play co-op on the single player campaign sucks because like that would have been its own thing. Like
Yeah.
people would have had a lot of time streaming that game with their friends. Same thing with Forge. Like even if they couldn't produce like their own maps. Well, by the way, we're only getting 2 maps in this update.
Okay. Okay.
Even if they couldn't produce their own, you could have had Forge, which would have been all user created content. So we could have just been making maps for the game while
Yeah.
waiting for the official maps to drop. And so with that, co-op's been delayed to the end of season 2. So season 2 could be, let's see, May, June, July, August sometime, maybe July, August.
We're talking about like the fall. We're talking about somewhat closer to the fall, right? As we're
Yeah,
gonna
end of
co-op.
summer, man.
Yeah.
Like, and that's just like, I don't know. I don't know if people will wait that
Yeah.
long.
Which
for this game.
is, but I mean, you know, it is on Game Pass, so when they do update for the co-op, I was just thinking about it actually when I saw the news. I'm like, I'm ready for that co-op. Actually, I'm ready for Dalan. We
Oh.
jumping on. We doing this thing in legendary difficulty. Let's go. So
Man,
I think
I
there
think
will
we
be-
need to. I think we
there-
need to go back and finish the
Yeah,
campaign at least
that's-
once.
Why did?
And you need to go do your
I
extra
did.
side stuff in order to level
Oh.
up your character
Oh,
because you
I-
know you just avoided all that stuff.
I did the campaign.
That brought back memories that Dalan wanted to forget for sure. You saw him go like this. He's like,
But the campaign's pretty good, but I can see myself, replaying it. And it's like meant, you could see it was like it would be great to play it in co-op, right? Like in the hardest difficulty. Let's go. Let's
if you
try to
stay
do
awake,
this
yeah.
stuff. If you could stay awake.
Oh,
exactly.
snaps.
Dalan,
A
what
lot of
about
open
you?
space in that game. You falling asleep just driving your car.
Dalan, are you upset as well that where the co-op is further delayed or
I am upset that the co-op is further delayed, and I feel like it's like this minimal patch to try and keep people interested until they can really get it out. But right in the middle of me saying this, I'm thinking, man, Resident Evil Reverse never came out. Anyways,
nobody worried about that, Dalan?
I'm worried about that. I wanted that game.
Hey,
Sorry,
wait.
dude.
Dalan played it for a couple hours. I was like, Dalan, let me jump in. I jumped in for like the last 5 minutes it was live, and I was like, it's whatever. It's fine.
I hope
Hey,
you know
you
the
didn't get a
copy I
chance to
bought in
really experience
December for Resident Evil, Dalan. The copy I bought in December had the like plastic thing on it and said comes with free access to Reverse, and I was like,
Which
what?
never happened.
Yeah.
It will not happen.
These delays are. We are well into a period where people are releasing games regularly. There's no real reason why they should be postponing this co-op thing, unless they have like some serious bugs. But if that's the case, tell us. Don't just say, "No, we're going to postpone it." But why? Because that's it.
Speaking of delays, Dalan, Forspoken has been delayed to October 11th. And the only thing I can remember of this, I think it's a high fantasy game or something, which, high fantasy. But
Yeah,
It's an adventure game, though.
But it
it's
is
a high
an
fantasy
Amy,
adventure game.
it is an Amy Hennig joint. So I forgot about that, but I was reading about that. I was like, oh, Amy Hennig, okay. She's if you guys don't know, she was the kind of original writer on Uncharted, right, Luis?
yeah, 1 through 3, I think.
Yeah, so she's definitely kind of she's got some writing chops. But that is the game that was delayed. Dalan, I know you were kind of looking forward to it, maybe because it's high fantasy.
I'm still looking forward to it. It's one of those. For me, it's another Bridge of Kenna. I don't care when it comes out. If you're improving the game, I'll
Bridge
wait
of
for
Kenna.
it.
Bridget, so it's a game.
Yeah,
of
I
the
said it
year
backwards.
candidate.
Kenna Bridge of Spirits. I'm
So
sorry.
to you, it's a game of the year candidate.
No, I don't know if it's game. Oh well, maybe a candidate. Yeah, I gotta play it.
I mean, that's true.
I gotta play
You
it.
played Kenna, and you said game of the year. Huh? You really love that game.
I really enjoyed that game, and it got
What's
some
the game?
praise too. So
Look,
shut it down, Carlos.
Look, Dale
You're
liked
wrong.
it too, though, so maybe I'm in the minority here. All right, I will take
It's a
that.
solid game. It was
But-
a solid game.
But, see, he said solid though. He didn't say game of the year.
It is a
First IP,
solid
Carlos,
game.
give him a break.
I could give him a solid. Okay, it was a solid game. Forspoken. Yeah, to me, I'm like, okay, now I'm a little more hyped about it. So it gets delayed, but I'm sure they'll work on it. They'll make it a little bit nicer. Dale,
Or they'll go on vacation. One of the two.
They'll go to Cancun. 1, 2, 3, Cancun. Deo, what are your thoughts on this thing getting delayed?
No, it needed to because it looked rough the last time they showed it. Like the frame rate was really off. I think people were annoyed by all the talking by the characters during gameplay, and so they're telling them to like, you gotta tone that down. And I was like, I mean, that's just how it is. I guess that's the direction they were going, but people didn't like it.
It's possible that they might not have the correct catalysts to tell the story in its entirety, so they're trying to mash it in between the fighting. And I know you guys have played those games where you're in the middle of a fight and they start talking, but so much stuff is flying at you that you're not paying attention to a word they're saying.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy is kind of like that. Like they keep constantly talking and like reacting to what you're doing on screen to help you, immerse yourself into whatever's going on in the battle.
Yeah, but there are those games where they actually are doing story in the middle of it, and there are plot points, and they're trying to tell you where to go. And I'm like, I don't know what you said. I'm trying to dodge rockets right now.
There's an art.
There's a dragon coming at me. Shut up.
I ain't got time for that.
There's an art to dodging bullets in a video game, yet getting some story fed at you at the same time. There's it's not perfected yet. It's not perfected.
I think Forza was doing that to me. I was focusing on trying to drive, and they were telling me to go places. I was like, I don't know where you told me to go.
Yeah, games are a little wacky that way.
That's true.
And there,
you like drive to like a pyramid in Mexico or something, and the guy's like trying to tell you all the history about the pyramid. You're like, dude, there's a thunderstorm coming on right now. I gotta pay attention, man.
Hey, I'm in the middle of this drag race right now. I'll come back. I'll come back though. I'll come back. The worst part though is that sometimes you can't replay that, right? Like they said it and that's it. You missed it.
It's gone.
Yeah, you can't. You can't be like, okay, well, what did you say, man? I mean, come on, speed it up though. I got somewhere to be. Now, as far as this is concerned, so this thing they kind of might have felt a little more confident in delaying this because another game. So this is a Square Enix published game, and Babylon's Fall did come out recently, Dalan. I know you've mentioned it on the podcast.
Yeah, I did.
It dropped and it peaked at less than 650 people on launch day, and this is according to VGC. I do have a quote from Axios as well saying that, quote, on Friday, the Square Enix published Babylon's Fall released and received many poor reviews. Many have speculated that Forspoken's delay is due to Square Enix seeking to avoid another potential flop. So I think we're okay with that, right? The fact that it's a Amy Hennig joint, and I want to see her writing. I want to see another video game of this. But Dalan, they were like, we had kind of like what happened with CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk, right? They're kind of trying to avoid any bad PR, right? Or any kind of like, we need to make this work.
Hey, like I said, if you're postponing it to try and fix your game, I know Babylon's Fall was supposed to come out and I really did want to play it, but when it dropped, or at least when its beta dropped, I was like, you know what? I'm not going to do it right now. I'm going to wait to see what happens with people's reviews. And it turned out to be far more terrible than I expected. So I'm hoping they actually find a way to fix that game, and maybe even with postponing Forspoken that they can actually focus on improving Babylon's Fall. I mean, they have their Final Fantasy 15, and that one's successful enough. Maybe they'll be able to divert some resources to fix this game.
Dalan, you are comparing a Final Fantasy 16, which I don't even really play those games, to a Babylon's Fall. That's what you're doing right now.
You're right. We both just said the wrong number, so we're gonna go with Final Fantasy 14: A Realm Reborn.
There you go. But yeah, I mean, look.
So is this the new Cyberpunk? Did Cyberpunk finally get dethroned by another developer?
No. It is not that bad.
650 concurrent viewer peak on launch.
Just because people didn't go for it doesn't mean that the game is terrible.
I was gonna say
it's a failure, dude. It's a failure.
It's like
it is pretty nasty.
What's that other Square Enix one, that like Neo Tokyo game? Do you guys remember that thing? Like,
it already came out.
Yeah, it came out like this past year. Like the world ends with you or something. Like I heard that.
Yeah. That's Carlos.
Hey Carlos, you want to tell them about your experience with that?
I like it, man. Hey, the DS game, I'm going to say this. If you didn't listen to that podcast, Dale, you guys could go back and listen. But The World Ends With You, the DS one, I played it, and I was like, I'm fucking done with this. I watched the anime. Dude. I put down the game, and I was like, I'm done with this. And I watched, like, the 10-episode anime. I was like, this is how I'll catch up. Just to not really play Neo, The World Ends With You. I played it for, like, an hour, and I was like, all right, I'll come back to it at some point.
And never did.
But I will say, as far as what Luis was saying, though, Luis, it can't be the next Cyberpunk. People would have had to have cared. They would have had to have shown up.
Oh,
And
true. You're
they
right.
did not.
You're
That's
right.
that's what I mean. Like, it might actually not be a bad game. It's like I feel like they didn't do a good enough. What is it called? They didn't put up good enough advertisements for people to be able to actually say, "All right, I'm interested." They're really pushing this Final Fantasy Origins game, but they were like, they showed Babylon's Fall for like 2 minutes on 3 different occasions, and
Even that one, Dalan, I don't know how much they're pushing that one. That game comes out like next week. Dude.
man, I'm seeing so many commercials for Final Fantasy Origins,
but that's
and
you're
I'm getting irritated just looking at the
hold
commercials.
On, Dalan. That's because you're on Crunchyroll 24/7. The rest
No,
of the
man,
world
this is
not
YouTube
seeing,
and Hulu.
The rest of the world is not seeing all those advertisements. All right, when you're on Crunchyroll, of course you're just gonna see Final Fantasy adverts. But from what I understand, I haven't seen that, and that thing drops like next week. So we'll see what happens with that.
What do you have against Crunchyroll?
I don't have anything against Crunchyroll. I'm saying that if you're on Crunchyroll 24/7, all you're gonna get is Final Fantasy advertisement. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. But the other thing I'm saying is, and I hope they get, I know they hope that they get attention, is Perfect Dark might be at Microsoft's E3 2022 show, according to VGC. I mean, the Video Game Chronicle. The first thing though is there even gonna be an E3, so this is a little weird hearing that it's gonna be at the Microsoft E3 show. But Luis, you're kind of you're kind of looking for. Okay, good job correcting it. I know what I said. Perfect Dark at Microsoft, quote unquote E3 2022 if that happens, Luis.
Yeah, I just kind of want to see what they do with it. Because I don't know when it was. It was before Perfect Dark got even announced. I got hit up by an old coworker who was a producer there, and they wanted me to go in and like interview at the Initiative, the company, the developer that's working on it. And for whatever reason, it just didn't sync up. And then I saw a few months later that they're working on Perfect Dark. So I just kind of want to see what they do with it, you know.
Okay.
And hopefully it looks pretty rad. Kind of look at something, maybe get a little FOMO, seeing something that I'm not working on. But yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm excited for them.
That's what I was gonna say. Are you kind of like, well, you don't have to get into details of how it kind of played out, but it would have been kind of like, I could have been on that right now, right? Could have been kind of on the
yeah. No, I just never interviewed. I think I found a job somewhere else or something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
Had you known they were
want to
working,
see what they do.
Had you known they were working on Perfect Dark, you would have been like, I need to make that interview.
It would have probably changed, yeah, my whatever was going on at the time for sure. Would have been a nice little variable to throw into the mix, but
Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Sadly, it didn't line up.
Sometimes that's just how things work out. One thing that we're hoping that works out for Dalan here is that there's going to be a Dead Space live stream on Friday. GameSpot said that developer Motive Studios has announced a live stream offering fans, quote, early looks at development and what goes into the remake of a game, end quote. And that's on Friday, Dalan. You're gonna be tuning into that one, to that live stream.
I'll probably be working while it's going on, but then after the live stream is done, I'm probably going to end up watching it because I watched the first one after it was done airing, obviously, and it was awesome for me to see their updates, but it was straight up a 1-to-1 of the game, and even though they had their minor improvements, and it was awesome to see these minor improvements, there really wasn't a lot extra to the game. And the part that makes me excited for this stream is apparently the company actually went and listened to the fans based on that first stream, and then they went back and reworked a bunch of stuff, and now they're going to be airing this new one. So hopefully they have a lot of new updates. I mean, there was another game that was in like I want to call it development hell, but it was more like they put it in beta and then left it in beta for forever, and people were just mad at it. It was a Space Odyssey game that I can't remember the name of right now.
Oh, but that they kind of took Kickstarter money and all kinds of stuff like that, right?
No, it wasn't even Kickstarter money. They essentially launched the game, but they said it was the beta. And they were never officially releasing this game. It went on for, and I mean literally years. that this game was actually just in development, but people were playing it all the time. People were like, all right, where's our official release and where's the update to the graphics? We never got it. I'm hoping that doesn't happen to this.
I was like, that was a long-winded way to get back to making that connection, then, because like, what we're talking Dead Space and EA. I mean, EA
we're
was
talking
the worst
about
company a couple years ago, but I mean, they're not gonna do that. I mean, they're not.
well, what I'm talking about is I don't want them to make some developments, go to the people, and then make more adjustments, go to the people, make more. I don't want them to keep doing that. I want them to settle on their vision for the game at some point.
You want them to do what they did. You want them to do what they did to the Sonic the Hedgehog movie, right? The fans were pissed, and they were like, "We'll clean this motherfucker out. He's gonna look okay now. He's gonna look okay."
One cleanup, we're good. Two cleanups, that might be better. You start getting on 3, 4, and 5. I'm like, where's my game? Just finish it.
All right, Dylan, well, I hope they don't. I hope your work isn't listening. Talking about, I'm watching this at work. But we'll move on.
I don't. I just said I'm not watching it. I said I'm working, and I watch it after.
Okay, it's on wax, Dalan. It's on wax. House of the Dead remake is coming April 7th.
I'm sorry, you make me want to just say, check the tape. Check the tape.
Like a stenographer.
I was trying to look this up, man. But so House of the Dead remake is first coming out for Switch. I think it's also coming out for PlayStation and other consoles. I was trying to look it up, man. But where's the gun support? I don't see it anywhere. Maybe you can illuminate me on this, Dale. Like, do you see? Is it gonna have gun support? I don't even know if that Switch has gun action.
I think you're right. I mean, you could hold the Switch controller, the Joy-Cons like guns, and that could work,
control,
I guess.
Oh yeah, okay.
Or they'll probably sell like a peripheral that looks like a gun, and you slot the Joy-Cons in there, and then that'll do its thing or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
but you're right.
You need the Labo. That's what you need. You need the Labo.
Oh yeah, just make a cardboard thing. A cardboard gun, tease for House of the Dead. I'm down. I'll do that. But you're right. They haven't announced anything like that.
There was
so
one
far.
that the Wii actually had a surprisingly okay one with the Nyko one. I don't know if you guys ever tried it. They did the House of the Dead like reimagining or whatever. That gun.
It was 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That one was really good. It was cheap, and they basically copied like the Move controller, the gun peripheral, so you could just slot it into like the top part of like the slide or whatever, and then you just use it that way, and it was really good.
It did work. It was like $10 too, man. It was like a very cheap like peripheral too that you just slot the Wiimote in there, and it worked okay. But other than the controls, you're still pretty hyped, even if you're playing it on gyro controls or whatever. You're okay with that?
Yeah. It's House of the Dead. Like it's super camp, super over the top, like zombified violence. So I'm down. I have. The last good one was like 3, I want to say. Overkill was cool, but like I like the original one, and I hope they keep the dialogue the same, or at least have the original dialogue, and then have like maybe some sort of updated dialogue without the broken English.
And House of the Dead, like it was not really edgy, right? It was still family friendly. It was zombies, and I think they might have dropped in a cuss word or two, but maybe not. I mean, it's supposed to be in the arcade. Overkill was don't bring your kids. Like, it was some Dave Chappelle shit. Do not bring your kids to Overkill. Like, it was graphic, dude. They pushed it in that one. If you guys haven't played
they had like a Samuel L. Jackson type character just dropping F-bombs all over the place.
It was wild,
it was glorified.
It was nice. It was good, but do not bring your kids to that. The other thing is, and I think Housemarque might want you to bring your kids to this, or they won't mind. But they're working on something else. It's not Returnal related, which I'm happy about because I never did return to Returnal, even after they updated it, which maybe I should. Maybe not, though. I'm not going back to that. Luis, your thoughts on Housemarque? Their next game will not be Returnally.
That's an interesting move. I mean, obviously, I can see their reasoning behind that because even though, according to Sony, it was a blockbuster success or whatever they said, the first one, a smash hit. That's what they said. That was the quote, smash hit.
Yeah.
But that's interesting for a new sort of for them to like bring out their first big IP and then immediately create another IP is kind of an interesting move. You don't really see that very often. But I wish them nothing but success, So we'll see what happens with that.
Okay, Dale, what are your thoughts on that, man?
Same as Luis. Like I'm kind of surprised that they did that. But they also have a couple of older IPs under their belt that they could probably go back to, like Nex Machina or Super Stardust HD. I don't know how they would bring those up to like the PlayStation 5 era, but who knows? If they create a brand new project, it'd be interesting because this is going to be the first time that they're fully under the PlayStation umbrella, so they're going to have a lot of like backing, just because a lot of PlayStation studios already get huge time commitment from the management, also like money wise and resource wise. So it'll be interesting to see if they could come up with a brand new IP for this generation.
That could go in different directions, right? I think the right now when you were talking about that was the last thing I can remember is I don't know if it was Bizarre Creations or something. Like they did Geometry Wars and Microsoft bought them, and then they were like, we don't know what to do. We have all the money in the world, but we're not really sure. And they did get a bag. They did get a big bag for Returnal. But even that, I think it for the most part got generally positive reviews, right? But even then, I'm kind of like, I don't want to play that, So it's kind of like it could go different directions, right? As far as like what they do next.
Yeah, I think Returnal didn't hit like the type of audience that they wanted, because like if you look back at like Horizon when that was a new IP, like that hit big. If you look back on Uncharted, same thing. And so Returnal might be a very well made game. Same thing with like Days Gone and a couple other Sony made games. It might be a really well made game, and it has like a good following, but it might not hit like mass appeal that Sony studios might be looking for.
Yeah. The other games that probably do have mass appeal, and they're hoping to bring it to next gen, is Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7. I like how it's kind of all over the place. Where's our code Veronica? I'm looking at the camera here. Resident Evil 2, 3, and 7 is coming to next gen in 2022. Luis, what's got you kind of interested in this? Are you all right? Were you not ready? You doing all right over there, Luis?
Well, it's because you said interested in this. Stop buying Resident Evil remakes. Y'all keep buying Resident Evil remakes.
He is straight up
All
not
y'all keep buying
interested.
Resident
Exact
Evil
opposite.
Y'all keep wanting new Resident Evil, Code Veronica, whatever the hell you want, and then they keep remaking the same game, and everyone keeps buying it, and then you go, well, what was it Dalan talking about? He wants them to change the story that the dude wrote on the toilet or whatever. Like, what the hell's up with this stuff, dude? The game already came out. You played it. Let them make another one.
I didn't say I want them to change it. I'm just saying that I wouldn't mind if they improved upon it.
He wouldn't either, apparently.
Just so it's,
but they re-released this game so many times. But I don't want the same exact game. If you're gonna remake it, then
so
remake
maybe they should
it.
just make a new game, no?
But this isn't even talking about remaking it. This is talking about taking games that they've already got and just moving it to next gen. That's
a remake, dude.
That's not a remake.
Look, I look first.
It takes some work to remake that game on a new platform. Trust me.
No, but they're not talking about remaking the game though. They're just talking about enhancing it so it looks better.
That's what a remake is,
right?
dude.
This is one of those cheap. This is one of those cheap like double dips, Least. Like they made 2, 3, and 7, and they're like, look, better frame rate, I think, and they'll.
That's what the remakes used to be, just HD or whatever they used to call them, right? That's basically what this is.
They'll call it Spooky Edition, dude, and they'll give you.
But trust me, that's not them like pressing build and it goes into the next platform. That's some work, man. That's some work.
Trying to tell Dylan, but you don't want to listen.
No, I understand that they got to change some of the code, but come on now.
Just so it's clear, we've talked about it before, but Resident Evil 4 apparently written on the toilet for just a couple weeks, and it went out the door. So just so you guys are aware.
5 and 6, they got their own pack. It's still up for sale on the PlayStation Network, which is why it's not in this pack.
Ain't nobody trying to punch a boulder, Dalan, or play 6. Or
5 was not the punching of the boulder. Oh wait, was 5 the punching of the boulder?
You very
much.
It was 5. That was 5.
You very much beep to punch a boulder in Resident Evil 5. All right.
You obviously played it on an Xbox, but that's fine.
How else would you play it? I mean,
of course,
360 was.
I played it on PlayStation.
Don't be one of those console war haters, Dalan. Come on, you can play on Xbox if you want.
I mean, and plus 360 was king at the time, so I don't understand, Dalan. PS3 caught up eventually. PS3 caught up eventually. Another thing that's caught up, Back for Blood hits 10 million players.
They caught up. They had to come back. They were like, let's differentiate.
Caught up 10 million players, and DLC is coming in April. So we got to get back to that, Dalan. Probably
no, we don't.
Before April. Oh damn! Okay.
No, we don't. No, we're not. We don't at all. Whoa. I'm happy for them that they were able to finally get their fan base back from Left 4 Dead. Because people played Back 4 Blood and said, why am I not just playing Left 4 Dead? And then they just went back to Left 4 Dead. But now we got 10 million players on Back 4 Blood, and maybe they'll shut down the servers for Left 4 Dead at some point and just be like, all right, you have to play Back 4 Blood now.
Well, they're two different developers, Dalan. One is Valve,
still.
and this is a different developer. Also,
My-
how are you going to promote Babylon's Fall with the 650 players, but Back 4 Blood, all of a sudden you hate it with 10 million people? People have shown interest, Dalan. People have shown interest.
I don't want to go back to that game.
It's a good game.
I'm not saying that. I'm not even going to say that it's a terrible game or anything like that. It's just not my cup of tea.
You're saying you're tired that Carlos kept shooting all the crows, right?
That did not help. That was a very frustrating thing.
Wait,
We're in there trying to do a very specific thing, and Carlos not paying attention every single match. He's off doing his own thing. He's collecting all the zombies to follow him and bring them back to us.
Now, just so I try to remember a little bit, the crows would make it crazier for us, right? Like if you
it would call the horde to come, and we'd have to survive in that spot. We could have snuck by, but no, we said don't go towards the crows. And the first thing you said, "Ooh, loot box," and you ran right through the crows.
Look, that's what I was gonna say.
Fell for the bait.
The fact that I'm asking for clarification means that anytime you guys like who hit the crow, and I was like, huh. And I already shot it. I did not know. I was not paying attention. I was just shooting everything that was upon me, in front of me. I
hate you so much.
But I understand, Dalan, one of your former employers, McDonald's, has been sued for $900 million for trying to fix its infamously broken ice cream machines.
You're saying that very wrong.
Yes, they were sued though because ice cream never.
They were sued because the company that wanted to fix them were told not to.
Did someone would they come into your McDonald's and like? I hope that someone was like trying to pry it open and someone's like, no, don't touch that. This is Taylor.
No, because we were because we're
conspiracy. I saw a YouTube video about this.
No, because we were a franchise. The guy who owned our current McDonald's store, he had another guy that would regularly come and try and fix stuff. And it was always the same guy, and he would just like tinker with it. It would start working, and a little while later it would shut down. Right now, it's doing okay, but it's still the same guy. He's not a corporate guy. They're not hiring nobody. I'm pretty sure that like 3 of the managers are all in the same family, because I know that for sure is that some of the managers that own some of the McDonald's up here in the mountains, they are all family. And they're like, no, we're going to make you manager. We're going to make you manager. We're going to make you manager. We're going to make our uncle the fixer of everything. He's going to come and change out the light bulbs.
Nepotism.
and that's why the ice cream machines are not working at McDonald's. And they're getting sued for $900 million worth because the nepotism. Carlos Macias.
Hey, just hire the people that can do it.
Thank you for listening. Dalan Kirkwood, up in the mountains. Dale Boss, Luis Mendez.
See you guys.
Tune into what you've been playing. It's all wacky.